I want to thank Don Ring, who's here again, the widow of our good friend Leonard Ring, who was a great trial lawyer and gave everything, gave his all. He left everything on the field. And to Robert and Susan as well, thank you for being here to honor our friend Tom. As everyone knows, Tom is a lawyer who practices law principally in the southern area of our state, doing medical malpractice, product liability, trucking cases, you name it, Tom does it. As I told him before I started talking here, that in my opinion, he's the best trial lawyer in Illinois. And in saying that, I don't say it lightly. He reminds me a bit of Lincoln, except when Lincoln was turned down when he proposed marriage to his girlfriend, Ann Rutledge turned him down, and Lincoln went and laid in bed for 4 months. I don't think Tom has ever gotten 6 hours of sleep in a night. So he can try a case like Lincoln, but personalities are a little different, as you probably will soon see. I reserved a minute for rebuttal. Recently, Tom obtained a $14 million result in a products case. He got a $10 million wrongful death verdict in malpractice case, $7 million malpractice verdict against an ER, a hospital ER room. Past 2 years, he's had a $21 million settlement in a products case, $20 million settlement for a police officer in the products case, $15 million for another injured victim in a trucking case, $14 million in a malpractice case for anesthesia, and these are just recent. So you get the idea, and Tom practices with Sammy and his son Tom, but Tom only does criminal work. And he's lucky to have a wife in Rita that's by his side, and she's a wonderful lady, and thank God I'm going to nominate for her for sainthood. You'll soon see why she should become a saint. Tom has had over 250 settlements and verdicts in his career. And he's been most of his career a sole practitioner until Sammy's helped him do some civil work. He's taken her on recently, but he's been a lawyer for well over 30 years. And Tom, his son, who he's very proud of, who's a wonderful criminal lawyer, doesn't want to do the civil stuff. And I said, well, give him time, Tom. He'll come around. You'll get him. You'll move him over. And Jen is here, Tom's wife. And thanks for being here. Tom has been voted the #1 lawyer in downstate Illinois. He's been the leading lawyer from downstate for 5 years. He's one of the top 5 lawyers in the whole state. We know he's the best, in my opinion. And he's been one of the top 10 super lawyers in the entire state since its inception. He's been recognized by Harvard's study, that book they put out every year to try and get us to buy it. As one of America's best trial lawyers. He's been honored as the Downstate Volunteer of the Year. He's been honored by the Lawyers Assistance Program, and he's received the Joseph Bartolek Award. Now, he hasn't given me this stuff. I got it from Deb, his assistant, because Tom would never share this sort of thing with me. In addition, he's received the Mary Ellis Bursley Award from Madison County Catholic Charities, was the recipient of the Madison County Record Person of the Year. I don't know how you can explain that one. The Madison County Record is a bunch of tort reformers. I think they're trying to get on your good side, so you don't sue them. He's also received the Richard Ugland Memorial Award. He has contributed millions of dollars to various political races around the state, and I know that because we've been asking him to do that for many, many years, and he does it willingly, and Rita's done it even though she may not know it. In addition to giving millions of dollars in political donations, Tom, and he didn't give me this and wouldn't give it to me, and Deb said she didn't know if she should, and I said, believe me, I got to talk about Tom, and if you don't give it to me, I'm going to make it up. But he's given millions of dollars to various charities, including his beloved St. Louis University, Boston College, Kids with Cancer, Griffin Center, Sister Julia. I know you've given her a lot of money, let's just put it that way. The Catholic Urban Program in East St. Louis, St. Vincent de Paul in East St. Louis, the Lawyers Assistance Program, YMCA, Salvation Army, the Scribner Foundation, Father Reese's Relief for Haiti. I know you've come in big time for them. St. Clair County Law Day Run, the NAACP, the Abraham's Mission in India.
Yeah.
You better keep working, Tom. You better keep working, man. The Arizona Justice Project, Catholic Social Services. That's what Tom and Rita have done in giving back. And I mean millions of dollars. That's the kind of guy, that's the kind of family the Keefes are. In addition to that, nowhere truer words have been written about any lawyer in this room or elsewhere that when the Leading Lawyers Network magazine called Tom a hidden gem of Illinois trial lawyers. We know he's not a hidden gem. He's a true gem that I've known for over 30 years. He's a true pal, a great lawyer, a better human being. No one is more deserving of the Leonard M Award than my friend Tom Keefe.
Wow. Joe, seriously. Seriously. I mean, that's just, you know, people ask me, and I wrote these notes because Joe said you're going to get to speak for a little bit, and I said, you know, Joe, I'd like to work without notes, and he said, Tom, I don't think that's a real good idea. And I said, why? And he said, well, Tom, it's kind of like the NASCAR races. If people come to watch you speak because they're waiting for the wreck. So after I ran some of my remarks by Joe, he said, no, you can't say that. And I tried something else. He said, no, you can't say that. So I don't know what I can say. I'm just going to say what I can say because I told Joe, I said, I'm not from up here. So if I make all you guys mad, I really don't care. People ask me, and this Chicago trip, I mean, Rita and I came to Chicago, and it was great. And I haven't been to Chicago in a long time. And people they say, why don't you come to Chicago? And I say, why the hell would I drive 300 miles to go to a judicial hellhole when I live in one? This is what, can you imagine in the Ring family? God bless you folks. And I'm going to speak in a few minutes about Leonard Ring because, you know, honestly, to get an award is pretty cool. To have an award named after you, I mean, that really speaks volumes to this man and to what he did and what he meant for us. And yeah, that's just. But when Eli said to me, he said, Tom, he said, we think that you should get this award. And I said, well, wait a second, I don't understand. I said, what about Clifford? He doesn't say anything. I said, well, what about Joe? And he said, he doesn't say anything. Look at Collins. I think I'm getting the award because I'm tall. I think that's it. I'm getting the award, Joe. I told you, you get 1 minute for rebuttal, and that takes care of that. 20 years ago, when Leonard Ring passed away, and when Leonard Ring was being Leonard Ring, and when the Illinois trial lawyers were being the Illinois trial lawyers, in the reincarnation that we were then 20 years ago, it was a different world. I mean, we live in a totally totally different world. When Leonard Ring was practicing law, and when Leonard Ring was doing those things that Leonard Ring was doing with guys like Joe and Larry and Todd and Cooney and all these guys that were coming along, but we were just pretty early in the career. And we were living in an era where you could try lawsuits, and you could depend upon a jury to listen to the evidence. And you could depend upon a jury not to give your clients pity, because you didn't want pity, and you didn't want sympathy, but you wanted a little bit of compassion, but you wanted them to follow the law. And the law says is that if you prove liability, you must, not may, you must, fully and fairly compensate the plaintiff. It's not permissive, it's mandatory. But unfortunately, that isn't the world that we live in now. Because we now live in a world where right now is that they have demonized the lawyers, which is a good trend. I mean, it's a great strategy, it's not very original. But what they've really done is that they've gone through this long charade. And what they've done is that you get these crazy commercials like Liberty Mutual. You got this idiot who drives his car through the garage, crashes crap all over the place, and then this guy comes on and says, personal responsibility. What's your policy? Liberty Mutual. What's that got to do with selling insurance? Nothing. What it has to do with is that it has to do with trying to affect jurors and what jurors believe. It's our job is harder now. It's much harder than it was in years past. And it's harder because we have to deal with that. And we have to deal with things like the Madison County record. And we have to deal with all of these attacks on the civil justice league. And what do? We just have to keep fighting, folks. There's no other choice. And the problem is that the other thing that's happened is that the rules have changed, and they've changed dramatically because when Leonard Ring and Corboy and Carr and all of those wonderfully illustrious lawyers who won this award in years past, when they were fighting that battle, they were fighting that battle mostly in the courtrooms. Right now, it's a new world. Right now, this battle has to be fought outside of the courtrooms as well as inside the courtrooms. We live in a society now where we are spitting out billionaires right and left, and they're not satisfied to have their houses, they're not satisfied to have their cars, they're not satisfied to have their wine clubs. They want to buy our offices, and we can't permit that to happen. We have a responsibility. And see, the responsibility that we have in this battle that we have to fight, all the rules changed 5 years ago. Because 5 years ago, the Supreme Court decided that corporations were people. And so corporations now get to have religious freedom, and they get to have freedom of expression, and it's all subterfuge, isn't it? It's just all subterfuge. It's a subterfuge to prevent them to funnel money in and to try to keep our ideas on the sideline. And the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, is that Cooney and Power and Smith and Rogers and Simmons, except for Joe and Clifford and Haywise and whoever else I forgot, except for Joe, all the rest of us are going to die. Now, Joe's going to live forever. And somebody else has to step up, because all of this stuff that we've been doing for the last 20 or 25 years, it's a different game we're playing. It's a different game than Rex played. It's a different game than Mr. Ring played. Because the truth is that this is a fight that we're never going to win. It's only a fight that we can lose. We never win it, we just continue to fight it. I think that lawyers, Joe made those kind remarks about being a lawyer, I think that it's overstated. I think that lawyers I think that we take, a little bit too much credit when we win, too much blame when we lose. A good case is a good case. If you give good cases, then you've got a solemn responsibility to leave it all on the field, as Joe says. I mean, I can't tell you that I'm the smartest guy in the room, but I'll tell you that nobody's going to outwork me. And I think that's something that we all have control over. And so I always say to everybody, if you want to get good at this,